What's good, everybody? Just watched episode 6 of The Penguin. We're gonna give our post credit thoughts real quick. I got my main man Greg heading up with me. Stay with us. What's good, y'all? I got me and my boy Greg. We just watched episode 6 of The Penguin. We'll give our real in the moment thoughts about how the show went. Ended on a cliffhanger. So, Greg, man, what were your initial thoughts and feelings about this episode, dog?
Man, we got just episode after episode just gets really into it, gets you really involved right away. Great music to start everything off. We see where everybody's at, what everybody's doing. Everybody has their agenda and their problems to deal with in this episode, and everybody finds a resolution. And kind of you start to, we're keeping this whole saga, trying to where it's going to all take us, where everybody's going to end up at the end of this. And I thought I just transferred way through all their, we saw everybody's problems, we saw everybody's solutions, and we ended on that banger of a cliffhanger. So it was a good episode.
Yeah, man, I agree with you, man. I love the episode. Amazing cliffhanger. A lot of exposition, a lot of storytelling through dialogue. This was an actor's episode where they took the dialogue and they made the most out of it. The one-on-one scenes with Sophia and I don't know her name. I know she's played by Eve. Yeah, her and Eve, the tit for tat, where you kind of were like, yo, is she gonna shoot her? She's not gonna shoot her. It got real tense there. And what I like about that scene is you didn't know what was gonna happen because there was still the door of she may shoot her.
Yeah,
she's or she may let her walk, and it was really cool. The evolution of Victor was nice to see. I quite enjoyed that as well. But overall, man, what was your favorite scene and favorite part of the show?
Whew. I mean, you mentioned a great psychological battle, like back and forth between Eve and Sophia was a great scene. I thought that was just, you felt the tension, you felt, where everybody was coming from. You didn't know, like you said, you didn't know which way it was going.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't know if she was going to give up Oz. If she even knew where Oz was. Is Hangman going to kill her and the girls? Is she going to watch kill her? I mean, kill the girls and let her watch. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So, obviously, that's probably one of the top scenes for me. And it had to be the cliffhanger. I mean, the cliffhanger, the way it ends, like, you just see Sophia watching Oz's mom and Vic kind of, like, jam out as the power's gone on. You think everything's rolling in favor of Oz right now. Everything was kind of, he made the gold summit. He had got power back at Crown Point. He was looking up. He had solved his problem, and all of a sudden, Sophia now has the upper hand. You don't know what's going to happen next. So, probably my two favorite scenes.
Yeah, because when she was talking to Eve earlier in the episode, they're kind of talking, and then she walks away from Eve. Eve hasn't told her anything about Oz until that last moment where she says Crown Point. I heard he's in Crown Point. Why do you think she ratted him out at the very end? Could this be a bigger play, or is she playing her into Oz's hands? Does she still love him? Like, what's going on there? What did you think of that?
I felt it was I think it took it back when she revealed that she wasn't actually the Hangman, that it was her father who actually killed the friends of Eve or her employees. And I think her revealing to Oz that Oz kept it from her, and kind of like, how Oz kept everything from her and just kind of used her in a way that maybe she didn't respect. I think she found respect for Sophia during that exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like said, hey, like, woman to woman here, he's in Crown Point, we gotta stick together. I feel a bond with you. Let's, and she's always looking out for herself too. Like, that's just better self-interest. Maybe she's at that point maybe she's at that point, she realizes maybe Sophia can win this all out, and I want to be on that side.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of self-preservation. Roxy basically telling her where she is, kind of playing her into her house. So there's that point. She's a businesswoman. She's making a deal. She's making a deal for her and her girls.
Yeah.
So she's not just protecting herself; she's protecting her girls. And she's picking her girls over Oz, because at the end of the day, her girls will always be there. And whatever Oz is to her, a client, love interest, whatever he is, she probably is like, they come and go, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that was pretty cool. I like the evolution of Victor.
Mm.
You slowly, he's a criminal.
Yeah.
He's delivering drugs, he's doing that, but he hasn't been the violent side hasn't touched him yet. You know what I mean? The murder and the assault and the killing, it hasn't touched him yet. And then he kills Squid because Squid keeps pushing and prodding and saying, "Hey man, what if I go talk to the other people who are trying to kill your boss? We know what's up. I'm not stupid. I know where the money's coming from. So let me talk to him, or I'll go talk to somebody else." And then shoots him in the neck, and you just slowly see the
Mm-hmm.
slow destruction of a man. From I'm just delivering stuff. I am a criminal, but I'm not a murderer. I'm not a violent one. I'm
Yeah.
just delivering drugs here and there. I'm a driver. And then now you're a hardened criminal when you had murder underneath your table under your belt. And that was really fascinating to see the slow evolution or more of a deterioration of a person into the criminal underworld. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, definitely. We've seen Vic turn from a kid that was a guy that was going to leave everything behind for love, get his world, kind of like upside down. He's kind of negotiating. He kind of fell into this criminal path, and you see, like, with the killing, now he's, kind of crossed that threshold, where he's, and even Oz said, like, hey, it'll get easier, like, kind of like a sinister way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like at that point. You're like, okay, now he did the right thing, right? Like in a sense, like, hey, Squid's pressuring you. You're not going to cut him in, and eventually he'll turn on you, or he's a loose end. You got to
Yeah.
take care of. So he made the right decision, but like to murder somebody and to see the kind of like the torment it had on him. Even when he found his blood finally on his shoe, and just to clean it off, you couldn't really deal with it. So it's definitely could be a huge turning point for Vic, and is fully immersed in this life.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the cliffhanger, Greg. Man, it was the biggest. It was
Mm,
the biggest moment. She catches them. She's in their apartment actually.
yeah.
We'll talk about a little bit about predictions of what's gonna happen. But I'm kind of like, like how excited that we got a little, a little cliffhanger, like, some to eat on for a bit. What do you think, man?
I mean, every episode has come like where you feel it necessary. Like, I can't wait till the next episode, and
Yeah,
so they done it even a step further where you're like, oh god, I gotta see next episode now. Sophia's in the apartment with Oz's mom and Vic. Like, is she gonna just kill them? Is she gonna torture them? Obviously, she's gonna probably use one of them or both of them for leverage. Like, how is one of them gonna? I mean, it's just all the possibilities start squirming. You're like, God, I gotta see next episode and what how Sophia plays this and how Oz counters it.
yeah, yeah. What did you like about the Golden Summit thing where he's talking about, the fat cats in City Hall
Yeah,
taking all the resources, and they hate each other. They all
yeah.
also hate each other, but they know how to make deals to benefit everybody. Why can't we do it? Remember that scene where it was kind of like a Colin Farrell masterclass, like it was just him operating, just being Colin Farrell.
Just a great speech overall. Just Oz, I mean, you've got to be ruthless, you got to be cunning, you got to be smart, but you also have to be pretty charismatic to negotiate through, what Oz has been through. And so his charisma, his leadership, his it shows through that speech and how
Yeah.
he's able to get everybody on who hates not only probably hates him or has feels a crappy way towards him, and they all hate each other. Hey, look, we got to get together. We got to get this thing going because the other side and then the other side will mess with us. And for him to have that speech and just go through everything and say at the end of the day makes it super relatable. At the
Hmm.
end, he doesn't put himself above anybody. He kind of humbles himself, and it makes him. It just a speech where you're like, either he's a natural leader or he's a born manipulator, a person that just knows how to say what you want to hear. But either way, it's a beautiful, overall speech that goes on at that to form the Gold Summit.
Yeah, man. Because at the end, he just says, I'm just a kid from the East Side,
Yeah,
fighting to get just to get something.
to
That's what we
prove.
all are. You
Yeah,
know what I
prove
mean?
yourself.
Exactly. He goes to the Sullivans and he said, "Your ancestors built this bridge, this Elliott Bridge, but it's not your name on the bridge.
Yeah,
It's some crooked rich dude whose name is on the bridge.
yeah.
Why can't let's take back our city?" And that's a common theme in every single like criminal like show where it's we built the city, we're the underground, we're the bricks that lay the road, the buildings.
Hmm.
Why are we allowing these dudes or people in city hall or in some back room like run this city? Why can't we run the city? And it's just a very phenomenal juxtaposition with it, because I still don't trust him.
Mm-mm. Why would you?
I you know what I mean,
Like
like
the triad guy points it out. Like this
yeah,
guy's crossed everybody he's been in business with.
exactly.
Like why are we here? Like why are we listening to him? Like why are we believing this?
Yeah, and it just keeps have it just like this is how you know about like the charismatic leaders, the kind of the messiah archetype is
Yeah,
no matter what it is, they'll always get you
yeah.
somehow, some way. They'll always get you, and that's what happens. So Greg, I want to talk about how, like, I was talking about it a couple of days ago, where back in the day, when the Marvel came out,
Mm,
they were making Marvel stuff
yeah,
with the comics and the characters, and they were making them into genre films, right? Like Captain America Winter Soldier was a spy film
yeah. Okay.
using Captain America.
Hmm.
And how this show is the exact same way of that movie. This is a crime mafia show,
Hmm.
but they're using the Penguin, right?
Yeah,
This is just like every mafia show we watch, Sopranos or The Godfather or all the Goodfellas. It's just, crime, selling drugs, running guns, women, you
yeah.
name it. Do you like that they went in this direction, and how they're kind of moving to, like, let's make a genre film, but just use comic book characters? Like, what
Mm.
were your thoughts on that, my man?
No, definitely. You have to elevate your game, and they kind of like during the history of comic book movies and shows, they've kind of like went straight comic back route, right, and made it kind of really comic booky, and it kind of like it was hit and miss. It didn't really work out most of the time because it was
Mm-hmm.
too comic book. Now they chose a vessel to give it to you. They're gonna give you the broccoli, but it's with cheese on it, and the
Mm-hmm.
cheese is good. And this is a perfect way to introduce the Penguin, where you with familiarity with things you like about shows, the things you like about this whole genre of everybody pretty much is into some kind of drug show, some kind of like mafia business show, all this kind of lifestyle. It's like it draws people to it. So
Mm-hmm.
to introduce the Penguin like this and to make it a show like that is, I think, is the smartest way to present the Penguin. If you present it, oh, look at the Penguin. He looks like a creature. He's like all weird, like it wouldn't work. It would just didn't feel authentic. It wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
draw people of all ages into it. It wouldn't resonate with people. But to put it in the vessel of that show, like that genre, it really resonated with people. And then on top of that, you can layer it with a little bit comic book things here and there. Boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm. So, man, like, is there anything that you didn't really particularly care for this in this episode, Greg?
Ooh, man, tough. Let's see. Let me go through it real quick. Everything hit a lot. I mean, it's tough that she gave up Oz. Like that's just I understand the move and I understand that she has to do what's best for her and stuff like that. Just seeing that was tough, man.
Yeah. So you're mad that it happened, but it wasn't a
Yeah,
bad, like,
nah, it wasn't
yeah,
any bad. It's just like,
yeah,
damn, like, real.
yeah.
I feel you, girl. I feel you gotta do.
Yeah, no, you gotta do what you gotta do what you gotta do. So I fully understand that. But yeah, man, like me, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like there isn't much that I didn't really like, not like, because even there's that scene where you know she's entering Sal Maroni and that she's cooking, and she's like, I didn't really think you'd be a cook. and then he's cooking his wife's family recipes, and he said Ty likes it with a little bit of yogurt on here, and then she says Ty was right, the yogurt's better, and then he like just loses it in the moment, and just seeing like it shows you that like that this is a hardened murderer, criminal, crime boss, but the loss of a son and a family member truly gets you. I quite enjoyed that. But yeah, man, there's nothing much I really can say bad about this episode, man. I can't wait for next week, man, because that cliffhanger was crazy, man. It was crazy, man. Let's talk about that. What do you think is gonna go with? She has a crowbar. Is that a crowbar?
It looked like a crowbar.
Do you think she just tortures them a little bit, beats them, leaves, abducts them for Oswald as a ransom? What do you think is gonna happen, man?
So up to this point now, we know that she knows he's in Crown Point, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows what the stuff is at. She obviously, that whole cliffhanger shows you she's literally knows where his mother is. So
yes,
and Vic's there. So I imagine she uses both of them for leverage. I think she took a cigar cutter from her, and she'd been leaving signs of she'd been killing the corner boys and chopping their finger out and like as a message to Oz about her brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's gonna do the same thing again. She's gonna cut off one of their fingers. I don't know if it's gonna be the mom or Vic.
It's gonna be Vic.
Yeah,
it's Vic.
And she's gonna send it to Oz, and he's gonna be devastated, like just freaked out, because that's his mom is like the most precious thing in the world to him. That's the thing that he holds dearly. That's part of his motivation for keep on going and keep on hustling, is to protect his mom, try to help his mom out where she's going on doing her thing. So, it's gonna be a great episode. Probably it has to be. Like, there's no way about it. So yeah, I think she uses both as leverage. I think one of them has to die. If not, I don't think both of them die, but I think one of them will have to die.
Yeah.
And you'll see what Vic. I mean, what Oz? How does Oz? I mean, Oz has always gotten to where he wanted to be. Or he's always fixed the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, he's going to get one of them back, and then it's going to be probably heading towards. If this is going to be episode 7, then episode 8 is going to be like the
big.
Yeah. Everybody's going to be at it now. So
yeah, man, I think so too, man. Because it's gonna be. I think is my prediction for the next episode because of the cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be the him running around like just a game of chicken. He has to find them before they die, and she's gonna play some mental mind games with him because I think the therapist, her therapist, he said,
"Oh yeah,
if you when you catch him or catch anyone, my expertise is open to you." So so I don't know what that means. Like, what do you think that means? That means like probably some type of manipulation or some destruction or some like mental warfare or some abuse maybe. Like it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's gonna have to find some kind of leverage. Like she's gonna want him to suffer, but she's also gonna want the product and the whole business. So he's gonna have to find a way not only to save them, but he's probably gonna have to find some kind of leverage on her. I'm just trying to think of what it would be, but he's gonna have to find a way to not only just kind of like, because now he has the gold summit too. So like that's a little bit of backup. They can't just directly. So it's gonna be interesting how it all plays out.
Yeah, man. What do you think is gonna make up of this Maroni Gigante thing? You think they cross each other? Do you think like during the blow up episode or the cliffhanger episode, their relationship deteriorates and it's just a war on all three fronts?
I think if you're I don't know how strong it is, and if you're Oz, like, are you trying to find a way to crack it when they turn on each other and make it like turn on each other so that it makes them really weak and they end up self-destructing? That's another way he possibly could go at it. But yeah, it's a weird, like they're both suffering. They're both at the Oz. It's a powerful bond when you have gone through such traumatic events and you have a sole purpose now of getting revenge on somebody. Like that can bond you, but like at the end of the day too, you're like two crime families. Do you really want to be split everything 50-50? Like is one side is is either the DeJountes or the Maronis, or those the Falcons, right? No, the Falcons are the DeJountes and the
Yes.
and Maroni. So like, is one thinking in their mind like, hey, as soon as we complete Oz, I'm taking her out or taking him out. And I've gotta think that I think she's thinking it. Like, she's got to be thinking it. Like, as soon as I take him, take Oz out, I think I'm gonna take him out, and I'm gonna be the queen of everything.
Yeah.
Because this is human greed.
It is human greed, man, and that's the way they operate. And nothing much because this always ends one way, Greg. You know, people talk about this all the time. In the life on the street ends in two ways: jail or death.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of these people are going to jail because a lot of these people are getting killed. You know what I mean? So I can't wait who dies and who doesn't die. I'm probably, you know, would it be crazy if they, you know, they murder the penguin and they only give him a season? That would be wild. That would be wild. But I don't think that's probably not their way of thinking.
Or somebody takes on the mantle of the penguin.
Yes.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know either, man.
That would take a lot of guts to kill right off of the bat, you know.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think he survives. I think she survives. I think Vic's gotta die in a terrible way, like this.
Vic's for sure gonna die.
Yeah,
like Vic's for sure gonna die.
Heartbreaking way. Or he turns, like I've always said, maybe he turns on Oz, but that because that would be the out of the left field thing that no one really see coming. Up to this point, they've been so tight.
Yeah. You're probably right on that one. But you know, I'm pretty sure we've talked about a lot, everything, Greg, because we've talked about, you know, Eve, Oz, and his Golden Summit. I think he's gonna portray probably like three of those people, and like it's definitely the triads. I think he's gonna kill the old triad guy so we can do business with the young triad guy.
I thought that was gonna happen in this episode. I thought the old man was gonna be like, "No, I don't want to do it," and then like the kid behind him just pops in and like takes out his gun and shoots him right there. And it's like, all right, I'm in charge now.
That's same. I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing, and I was like, yo, somebody shoot somebody right now. I want to see somebody die. And you know, honestly, I don't know. I think it was you or Matt who was like, poison beer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean? Yeah, so that would have been funny as well.
I'd be so scared to be drinking anything like that. In a situation like that, like drinking anything from anybody, like I'd just be like, yeah, these people are trying to poison me. Like,
yeah, because you have no idea what they did with this beer. You had no idea what they did with this beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. But overall, Greg, I think we've talked about everything, you know, in this episode. We've given our thoughts. Any other final thoughts? What you like about the episode? How far have you liked this season? And then after that, give me your rating for this episode.
This has got to be a 8.5. That was very well done. Overall, this season, this whole show has been a revelation. It's been some of the best TV out there that I've seen. I'm super hooked every week, just waiting. This is one of the few shows that I'm actually waiting, like anticipating weekly. Most time I'm like, okay, whatever. This one I'm hooked. I'm ready every Sunday to watch this. I'm excited about it. And I just liked how everything. I mean, this whole episode went through. You know, it was just a beautiful episode about, you know, everybody had something, you know, and I thought we got exploration on every character that I cared about, and it was flushed out, and we got to a cliffhanger, so it was good for me.
Yeah, 8, 9, where we're going?
Oh, April 5.
April.
8. Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard that you don't like the 4.975.
I hate those people. But, I'm gonna go slightly above. I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go 9, man. I love this episode. I ain't got no faults on it. Nothing was wasted, and it was a hell of a good episode on their part. Shout to these people for making this, because you know they're making a mafia movie or crime movie just using the penguin, and it's phenomenal, man. So shout out to them. I appreciate it. I can't wait for next week. It's gonna be great next week. So on that note, everyone, appreciate you for joining us. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.